Today we are talking about ACOLYTE episode 5, so if you haven't seen it yet, spoilers ahead, you've been warned. Let's get started. As I said in the title, this is the best episode yet. However, the bar was not set very high whatsoever. Episodes 1 and 2 just being very dry, acting poor. Episode 3 being a flashback that should have been held to 5 minutes. And then episode 4 being a search for a dead Wookiee that should have been also 5 minutes. It's easy to say this is the best episode yet. Let's dive in. We start the episode out with a shot looking down at Osha, which I'm perfectly okay with. This shot right here, I'm cool with this. I think it actually looks really neat, but at the same time, it raises so many questions. How far did she get yeeted at the end of the 4th episode? And then another problem I have is as she starts to wake up, we start to hear the lightsaber sounds. You hear the lightsaber sounds off in the distance, which insinuates the lightsaber fight has already started. Something all fans love to see of Star Wars, it's lightsaber fights, and you're telling us that it's already started, it's undergoing, and we're missing it so you can show Osha dazed and confused. Why? And we also already have a dead Jedi Knight here. You see the bottom. How did he die? So we're already cutting out bits and pieces left and right, which don't really care for. Here she is again. She's hearing the lightsabers, and we get our first shot 2.5 minutes into the episode, if you include the recap at the beginning. 2.5 minutes into the episode, we finally get our first shot of lightsabers, and guess what? They're hidden behind trees. Love that. But I get that. She did get yeeted, but at the same time, how did the fight move so far away? How far did the Jedi themselves get yeeted back? So that just raises some questions. It's very interesting that they chose to put them off in such a direction that doesn't really make sense with the end of the 4th episode. As we can see, there's a lot of stuff going on. We finally cut to some action. We all know he's gonna be perfectly fine. According to Star Wars now, that Jedi's gonna be all right. I actually liked this choreography. This has been some of the better choreography when it comes to lightsaber fights. This one's really good. However, we have one problem is raised right here. The metal, and I found this out after the episode, the metal in which his helmet is made, I don't know the name of it because I'm staying out of the canon side because I'm not super well versed in canon. Just doing this from a straight director standpoint of does the story make sense, what works, what doesn't work. This is one of the things that doesn't work because you haven't introduced it. Our Sith Lord's helmet is made out of a metal that according to canon or according to books or something along in the Star Wars world, the helmet or the metal in which his helmet is made can deactivate lightsabers. That's kind of cool. If you're watching this and you're like me, you have no idea what's happening. I personally thought he had just really great aim and he was breaking lightsabers. That's where I was at. I did not know that the metal in which his helmet is made as well as his forearm piece can actually deactivate lightsabers. This is something that could have easily been introduced in the first 4 episodes so that when it comes down to this fight where it plays such a massive role, and trust me, it plays a massive role, the fans would know. But of course, lack of storytelling, lack of development, they just throw it in there and expect everyone to know what's going on. See, and here we'll cut to this. This shows them looking at their handles like, what's up with my lightsaber? Why is it not working? It eventually does ignite. Another problem I do have with the fighting, and we'll keep this going. I have a lot of negatives to say about this. I will say the fighting is good. I just do not care for how much of it is covered by the trees, the greenery, the way it's being shot. It's really good choreography. It's the best choreography we've had in a while. I just don't care that it's so covered. So then you see their lightsabers come back on, so we're good to go. Another thing I do have, I wanted to point this out right off the rip. It irks me to no extent that these guys still have their robes on. I'm sorry, it makes me so mad that they have their robes on. So here's actually a really cool death scene when he stabs this Jedi through the chest. Of course, we all know she's gonna be fine. And then he uses the Force to pull the other one through and stabs both of them. Again, they're gonna be just fine. Except for, he does a finishing move, but his finishing move is obscured by a tree. Stop obscuring stuff. We've seen Phantom Menace. We saw Darth Maul get cut in half. Anakin, how many times did we see an arm or leg get cut off of him? It's okay. Stop blocking it. Jumping forward to 4.5 minutes into the episode, we finally get to see Jedi Soul, and my first initial reaction when I saw this was, where have you been? We just watched 4 other Jedi I think it was 4 other Jedi engaging with the Sith, and Jedi Saul was nowhere to be seen, and he makes his grand entrance to deflect this lightsaber being thrown at her. Where you been, dude? Then we finally get our title scene. So all of that has happened in the first 5 minutes of the episode, and we already have so many problems, so many issues, so many complaints, so many just little details that they could have just spent a little bit more time on fleshing them out and making them better, and this could have been a great 5 minutes. However, it just, again, feels rushed, it doesn't feel like they talked about it. It was like, hey, we're doing this. Right after our title scroll, we get one of the most idiotic display of dialogue I've ever heard, and it's right here between these two.
George! We have to go back. You're injured.
Fine. I hate that. I hate everything about that. George! We have to go back. You're injured. Why do we have to reiterate everything that happens in this show? We saw him get his leg cut. We know he's hurt. You don't have to constantly remind us of things that have happened. It's bad story writing. It's bad development. It's just bad. She can tell he's hurt by the way he's limping. But of course, we have to reiterate it because for whatever reason, they think we're on TikTok and we only have an attention span of 3 seconds. Then we're going to flash forward between this fight scene between May and Soul's Padawan, and it's actually really good. I wanted to comment that I think she is either the actress that portrays the Padawan or her stunt double, if she had a stunt double, insanely talented when it comes to fighting. Insane, and we get to see that here. She is incredible when it comes to fighting. My biggest issue with this, though, she gets May in a compromised position to arrest her. First of all, why is she trying to arrest her when there's a Sith Lord running around killing all the Jedi? Also, where was she during the main fight? Anyway, why is she trying to arrest May with all this going on? Second of all, why is she reading May her Miranda rights and not finishing the arrest?
Arrest for the murder of Master Indara. The murder of...
We all saw that coming. So then we flash forward. We've got some more fighting between Soul and the Sith Lord. We show him just hanging out, looking around because he just had gotten into a fight. Flash forward some more. We then get to Padawan fighting Sith Lord after she finally makes the arrest on Mai. And again, incredible fighting skills here. Love the fighting skills on her part. This is actually really good, except the kick to the ribs where they always fall and they're like, compromised. I feel like they'd be a little bit better than that. We're cut sort of one of my favorite scenes where it's Soul and Padawan versus Sith Lord. And I think this is a great show, a great fight. I'm not too mad about the cinematography here. I think it's done really well. This part's really cool. He grabs her with the Force throws her against the rock. I think this is a well put together series. That's what I'm saying. This could have been a really good episode because they have moments like this where it shines. Right when everything's getting good, they cut away. That's my biggest gripe with this series or with this episode. Every time it starts to get good in the fighting, they cut away. And here we go. But we come back. It's Osha in the woods having a moment where she's like, oh yeah, they're attracted to light. Oh my goodness. But we come back to Soul and Padawan fighting. Again, really great choreography. Again, kind of annoyed at this where there's subtle moments where it goes from a 2v1 to a 1v1 where it should have been consistently a 2v1. Right now, Padawan's kind of just watching this happen where she could have been attacking. This moment right here is where I think she shot. This is where she shines as a stunt performer because these moves here are very good. They're very good. I gave it to her. These are very good. I have one problem with that, though. You're fighting a dangerous Sith Lord who has killed several Jedi, and you have a moment to deliver a killing blow, but instead you use the butt of your lightsaber to bash him in the head to knock his helmet off. Why not turn the blade around, bow, game over? Because we have to do idiotic things to push the story forward instead of developing a solid story that doesn't require idiotic things like this. But then we'll go into probably one of the coolest death scenes. I love how he pulls his saber apart. It's kind of cool. And then we go into this. I will say, I hate though how she goes from being such a great fighter to just running at him with 2 blades, and she runs with hers up with no defensive guard, and he just takes full advantage of it. This is a super cool shot. Something starts happening from this point out that just annoyed the living crap out of me, and I'm sure you will all understand this. They turn their lightsabers on and off so many times. Even if it was for a second, any chance they got to turn the blades off, they turned them off. They turned them off so many times. I want to go back and rewatch this to see how many times they turned them on and off, but it is ridiculous. And then we have a really my favorite line, my favorite piece of dialogue in this entire series. Saul says,
She was a child. You brought her here.
such a great line. I when I heard that for the first time, because I've seen this twice now. First time I heard that, I was like, oh my God, that is savage. But however, at the same time, what did you expect, Saul? You're chasing, you're hunting down a villain that you have no idea what could happen. And his line almost comes off as like, oh yeah, this will be it's like they knew this was like, I'm trying to think the right way to say this. It just doesn't feel like a Jedi who has a Padawan would actually say she was a child in a situation like this, because you should be well aware that when you have a Padawan and you go in these circumstances, your Padawan could get killed. In fact, Padawans got killed all the time. And so it's one of those things where it's like, I don't think a Jedi Master would say this, because it should be, yeah, they're a kid, you brought them here, this is your fault. So I love the sis response on that, but also at the same time, it just doesn't feel like it's very natural for a Jedi to make that comment. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments below. Then we cut to the villain giving a monologue, which is super annoying because, again, this is just there to push the story forward. He's making claims that May was going to betray him, and he was saying now that everyone has seen his face, they must die. And he's holding May at hilt point or lightsaber point, and he's giving this whole monologue that she has to die, and I'm just sitting here, so kill her. Turn the lightsaber on. Do what it is you keep talking about. But of course, because we have such a poorly written script so far, they have to do idiotic things like this to push the story forward. We get into a fight here because George shows up. I'm trying to get to it. And this is where this medal should have been referenced earlier in the season, which it was not. Jor comes in with the helmet and uses it to turn the Sith lightsaber off, which in trance, he uses his forearm piece to turn Jor's lightsaber off. So both of their lightsabers are compromised now. And then one of the coolest finishing moves ever. Easy, just bow, done. Pretty savage move. Then we get into a fight between Saul and Sith Man, which again, this fighting feels a little bit better. There's a couple of spots where it kind of feels like they are just hitting their marks, but this one does feel a lot better. He beats the Sith Lord to the point where he gets his blade out and he has a killing blow and he's told to stop. So again, we have a moment where you can strike this villain down who has murdered so many of your friends, so many Jedi, but you stop because you hear Osha go, stop. You had the moment right here. But again, we have to do stupid things to push the story forward. They're claiming they don't kill anyone that's unarmed. Well, then you'll notice as soon as he gives them up, he's quickly armed again. And then this scene with the Bucks feels just like a cop-out to, again, move the story forward because they needed to move away from the Sith Lord. We still have 3 episodes left. We have to do something. And so they just move away. I just thought that was very dumb. Very just easy way out. Saul gets zapped with the stun gun, and apparently it has more effectiveness on him because he is out for long enough for Osha and May to have this really weird dialogue exchange where I don't know what May's motive or direction is whatsoever anymore. But apparently we're going to have some big reveal where Saul lied to Osha about what happened, but at the same time makes no sense because Osha was there and experienced all of it, unless there was some crazy Jedi mind trick, which I really hope there was not a Jedi mind trick because that just... It makes so much of this so pointless, which can't wait for that to get revealed in the next 3 episodes. It'll be a great time. But again, Saul is knocked out long enough for them to get into a fight, Mai to knock out Osha, and then to do one of the craziest things ever. Get a haircut with a lightsaber, look exactly like your twin. Here we go. And now she looks exactly like her twin because she was perfectly able to cut all of her hair exactly like Osha's in one fell swoop with a lightsaber. I hate it here. But hey, let's not forget, she's got a massive tattoo on her forehead. You think they'll notice that, right? Surprise, they don't. So then she changes clothes. This is now Mai pretending to be Osha. We've got a nice little twin swap. So we've got the typical twin swap. Parent Trap 2. Welcome back. And then that's kind of how the episode ends. We get a little hint that our Bloodhound guy can smell a difference between Mai and Osha. That'll probably play into the episode 6. We also see our evil bad guy is healing Osha and make some monologue about something where I think he knows it's not May. For whatever reason, he heals her. I don't know what's going on, because 1 second ago he was like, everyone has to die. Now he's healing one of the people that supposedly had to die. I don't know what's going on, but we've got 3 episodes left. That's my review. Again, this was the best one yet. The fighting was decent, but again, there were so many issues where as soon as it started to get good, they pulled away. That's how it is, guys. Let me know what you thought of this episode down in the comment section below. If you're ready or not for episode 6, hope you guys have a good one. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.